You're a Mark fan now. That's how it works.
Ronny Haze in the house. What's up?
What's going on?
Got his own YouTube channel, Make Pap and Friends. Check it out.
Flawe Awe. Let's talk about Flawe Awe. Straight into it.
Yeah,
Flawe Awe, getting right into it. Yeah, I was saying before you hit record, so that way we had something to throw on here. I originally, when I saw Cinema Sins, before I even really digested what it was, I love that idea of pinpointing what doesn't work for movies. And then if you're in film school, you can easily go to a YouTube channel and you're listening to real fans just talk about why that scene didn't work, why it was a little too cringy, why that camera angle, why shaky cam doesn't work. And because you can hear it as a filmmaker, shaky cam, but then you're like, oh no, it'll look really cool. But then when someone says, look, listen, it's not clear, you're missing stuff, it's annoying, frustrating, you get this cool image, but you know, it's so shaky, it just takes you out of it.
I like that. I got to write that down.
People break it down. It's kind of like a new film school for you. So you can go online, and I've been saying this for years now. If you work in Hollywood, you can go online and you can hear what your fan base has to say directly. And because Hollywood does a thing where they spend so much money polling people and doing surveys and all this other, I'm forgetting the word for it, but this marketing shit where they're spending money just oh my god,
it's like test audience, isn't it? But that's one of the parts of the process.
It even goes beyond test audiences where it's not just when they have a final product, they'll actually bring people in and see, oh, what worked for that character, what didn't you like, what did you love, what
is it data harvesting?
Yes, essentially stuff like that. But in a big way, you can still do that, but it's kind of archaic when you think about all the information's out there on YouTube, and you could just pay some schmuck to go through it all, a couple schmucks, and you could pull so much information about the fan base, and it's right there. People are uploading it for free, and that's what gave me the idea, because I started noticing Cinema Sins was just a crock of shit. I mean, it was like random nonsensical jokes thrown in there, and I get it though, because it's its own. I wanted it to be one thing, but it ended up being its own, just, you know, it lacks substance and it's just entertainment. And so then I wanted to craft something review wise where instead of just saying, because I think it's only half right if you say just what's wrong with something, but I wanted to take something where we can rate it and we can rank it. So you're ranking based on a rating system. And I don't want to blow my own ego up, but I really love having the ranking system because it relies, I think the balancing is the fact that you don't give anything that's just okay any credit at all. It doesn't get a negative point. It doesn't get a positive point. You only give a point if something is above that and it's really good or great. And then you only take away a point if it's below the okay and meh, and you get something that's like bad or terrible. And it balances it out, because I was doing a number of ratings for, I think I did it for like a year and a half. I was just pulling movies and I was running different rating systems to find something that I thought was fun and entertaining. So I love what I came up with. I think Flawe Awe Reviews is the one thing, if I can do only editing moving forward, it's kind of what I'm moving into, to where I want it to be like my main series that I focus on. The only problem currently is it takes so long to put them together. And right now I'm working a lot, so I'm only putting a little bit of time. But with June and July, I've been breaking away more, and I'm now going to be getting into it heavy, and I'm really excited to finally start putting them up. But I love that idea, just the what works and what doesn't of our entertainment, and it's fun to talk about.
Yeah. Is copyright a massive issue when you're like editing them together?
Yeah, copyright is an issue, and if anyone wants any, like, the best tip you can get, just short clips. If you want to play it ultra safe, never go past 3 seconds. And I tested that for months. If I told you I tested it for like 9 months uploading stuff, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass or over exaggerating, because I wanted the Flawe Awe review. If I was going to do it, if I'm spending 60 hours, 50 hours to edit one video, I'm going to make sure I can do a whole series and not get slammed with something. If you do 2 seconds on a clip and it sounds like it is a pain in the ass, but you're going to have to just find the one thing where you get the character saying or doing something pop it in and learn how to, a trick is to slow down what came before it and what came after it. So you kind of got to flow into it. But that's the best way to get around copyright. But eventually someone's going to hit you. Like my Friday the 13th part 1's copyright right now. I can fight it, but I'm not even going to mess with it yet. You know,
I managed to watch it before it got a strike.
Yeah, same.
yeah.
And what I liked about it, sorry.
Well, I re-edited it, edited. I did a re-edit and I put it back up, and somebody manually went and searched for something where they could put another claim on it. It was the pettiest shit in the world, man.
It's so anti-business practice because, you know, it's free advertising for everything. The film,
really is.
The soundtrack, you know what I mean? You're paying homage to these people, and it just baffles me. Like, how much money do these people need? Because in the long term, they're going to get more money from people like yourself.
Yeah, and it is insane because I'm not preaching just to, you know, the old heads that gave their money and that's it. These are people that I get comments all the time from newcomers that are being reintroduced or introduced to the first time in a big way. You know, they heard about Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th, of course, because they're iconic, but they actually watch the video and it entices them to go and rent or buy the movie. And I've gotten that comment so many times. But a good example is there's a bigger channel, really big, called Dead Meat, and he does a kill count, right? Well, he got copyright claimed for some franchise. I forget what it was. So he dropped it completely. Yeah, well, he did get one for Train to Busan. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to add that to this point. He did get one for Train to Busan, and I think he didn't do Peninsula because of that.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah,
but he got copyright claimed for a whole other franchise, and he just skipped the franchise. And he said, listen, I apologize, but I can't mess with it. And if you look at the stats he gets and the numbers he get, some of those people are bound to get introduced for the first time, buy the Blu-ray, buy the merch, you know, support what's coming next, support the future of that franchise. So these companies that are copyright claiming just for a few pennies on YouTube, you're idiots. I mean, you don't get any dumber. It's insane.
Because that like goes back to The Walking Dead. Sorry.
Oh no, Walking Dead did it like crazy too. But I think AMC, something shady was going on there. I could tell that.
No, because I was going to say before we get into the deep end, 3, 4, bit of 5. I stopped watching, but it wasn't until I started watching season 6 videos of your YouTube, and I was like, holy shit, I need to get back on it. The JSS episode and shit. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm back.
Yeah, see, that's another example of getting people to, and you're watching, so you're helping with the ratings, and if you end up loving it, you might get the merch or anything that will bring revenue back into that company. And for them, to these companies to just claim you, it's like going against, it's counterproductive to future proof your brand. It doesn't make any sense.
When I was watching Flawe Awe, there's one thing I found interesting on the Friday the 13th part 1 was you mentioned something being a pet peeve of yours, which was opening credits that go on for too long, because that's kind of an old school trait. I'm curious to know, like, what else are your pet peeves?
I think if we're talking visuals, I got a number of them, but I think if we're talking something along the lines of similar pet peeves than that, let me think. Because opening credits is definitely, and I think it's because there's just something about once the movie starts and you have that immersion, but when you get the opening credits, it is an old school thing, but it's more like a TV thing. It feels like a TV. It's a lot less serious, and the immersion isn't as much there. So I would have to say, when it comes to visual stuff like that, opening credits, title cards, and sometimes they have worked, but anything that breaks the immersion is a rule breaker. Another pet peeve is not handling your Steadicam the right way, like doing it just as if you're the point of view of somebody. I know a lot of filmmakers think Steadicam is just simply, I'm following the guy and I'm looking at his feet and I'm looking at that. But if you film it in a way where it actually feels like you're watching through the eyes of some idiot with a camera that's looking down at a guy's feet and going up, it has to be organic. That bugs the ever-loving shit out of me. The Steadicam that's not organic and it doesn't feel organic. It has to feel like you're there watching it, but you're floating there in a natural way. For Black Summer, I was just recently reviewing that. Watch that as a perfect example of what not to do with Steadicam, because you can feel the cameraman is just sitting there, looking at, oh, I'm going to look at your shoe now and I'm going to follow you up the hill. And it's like, no, that's not the way.
It takes away from the action too much.
It absolutely does. And to keep going with the Steadicam in itself, it should have a floaty, rough and raw feel to it. But it shouldn't take away from the visuals that you're looking. Unless you're not confident in the visuals and you want to hide a bunch of shit, then go ahead and have a seizure while you're filming. But you want people to still see it, and you want them to. It's weird to put into words, but you want them to clearly lock on to what's going on visually, and to feel like they're floating around in that camera in a sense. It's a tricky way to do it with the immersion that I think some people just think you shake the cam and you're good, but it's not really it. There's a level of skill to it.
Yeah, I mean, Zack Snyder kind of took it to an extreme, didn't he, with Army of the Dead?
Blurs.
Yeah, because I could see what he's trying to do. It's almost like he was trying to do the thing that you do on webcam with a zoom chat where you can blur the background to put the entire focus on the character, but it's kind of disorientating.
It is. He has that depth of field thing that he plays with, and he did it a lot more in Army of the Dead, I feel, which, again, that was frustrating because you have something that a zombie queen looks so cool. So why is 80% of her screen time blurry? It doesn't make sense. She looks cool. Let us see her. But going back to Dawn of the Dead, I think he relied on it to scare people too much instead of using the craft for what it was for the immersion. I think he relied on it like, oh, here's a fast zombie. How do you scare the audience? Well, the camera has to be real shaky because they're fast, 28 Days Later is an interesting one because you could get some really clean shots that are shaky and hectic, and they actually really work. And there's a few in 28 Weeks Later that they go from working to that's not it, bro, to working again to that's not it, so it's
what about the scene where he's running for about a good 2 minutes? That seems
talking about
dope.
the intro. They did that real good. The intro to 28 Weeks Later with the husband and wife, and he just leaves the bitch.
Yeah,
I did a good job with that one. That Steadicam, the scene and what was going on with the story. It's not, up there high on my list, but I like that. The first time I watched it, it was memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my favorite camera work of all time has to be Children of Men, the 2006 film.
Children of Men is fucking amazing, bro. That shit is fire. The way they hide their edits, the level of immersion in Children of Men. I've been heavily praising that movie for a long time because don't just track. Help me here. The lead.
Oh, Clive Owen.
Yeah, they'll just track him, and then he's drinking his coffee, and the moment you're starting to be like, yeah, this isn't interesting. Holy fuck, the background blows up, And that
tinnitus, and then the bit that gets me the most is the woman walking out all fucking struck and like she's walking out in rags, like all burnt up and shit, just waddling. It's frightening.
Yeah, absolutely, and they keep the immersion with it. The flow is there. That scene, there's inside the car where the camera. I think that's an amazing example. If you go ahead and watch like Black Summer for the Steadicam, go back and watch Children of Men and watch how they film the car scene where they follow the action, but it's so clean that you're in it and you forget all about the Steadicam and you're focusing on the gunshots or the arrow. I forget what it is that comes through the windshield. And then the camera goes to the back seat, to the car outside, to this window. And it's so smooth. It was expertly done.
The way they done that, I was watching, I think it was VFX Artists React, where it was a stunt series. But
that's a good series. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And they were going through the behind the scenes footage, and the actual car was designed itself so that the seats would lower when the camera passed by.
Oh, that's an older one. I think I'm pretty sure the behind the scenes stuff. You're right. That is fire. I remember watching that. One of like the bonus features.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too off topic, but that VFX artist introduced me to a lot of cool shit on the internet, and one of them, my favorite, was the reimagining of Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yo, my brother sent me that clip when
Mm.
they first uploaded it on YouTube. You're talking about the one where they redid special effects and they put it up on you. Isn't that like friggin' like 7 years old or something by now?
No, it's only
Or is there a newer one?
no 2018. This came out 2017.
Let me see.
Just put in Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader, and it should come up immediately. Something reimagined.
What are you looking at?
I know what I'm.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn my light on as well.
Obi-Wan. I know what I'm confusing it with. My brother was into. Oh, okay. I know what it is. My brother was into the people who are restoring Star Wars. It's been going on for like a decade or something. But you're right. I did see this a couple years ago, and this shit is fire. This FX post or something, 35 million views. That's hot. That's awesome.
35. Wow. Last time I checked, it was something like 10 million. But so word's gotten out, and you know what? I think VFX artists really shone the light on that.
Oh, absolutely.
But another thing I wanted to bring up with you as well, like one of my pet peeves in movies, and I only really realized I came across this only became a thing quite recently in the last few years. But when characters shout over each other, I was watching Uncut Gems of Adam Sandler, and I thought it was probably one of the best roles he's done in many, many years. But the shouting over each other drove me bananas.
Yeah,
because a lot of situations could have been resolved if everyone just shut the fuck up and listened to one another.
Yeah, I think there's I don't know. It's tricky because it's like the filmmaker is trying to let the story unfold with the conflict, but at the same time, have the characters not be stupid by saying, oh no, it's not that, we can fix it by doing this. But since everyone's shouting over each other, sometimes that gets a little problematic in that case. But I would have to rewatch. I did watch that a while ago, but I would have to rewatch to really pick it apart. But I know what you mean though, with characters hollering over each other. I think they're trying to go for a level of realism, because people do talk over each other,
Exactly.
but they overdo it a bit.
Yeah, to the point where kind of you get sensory overload. Because I think and this is probably just an issue I have, but I kind of become agitated by repetitive noises.
Yeah.
So like it would be a high pitched scream or people shouting. If you keep hearing it, you're like, fucking hell. So maybe that's why I just didn't get on with the film. But,
what film's that?
Oh, we'll talk about Uncut Gems of Adam Sandler. I was saying one of my pet peeves in movies is that I hate when characters shout over each other, and Uncut Gems did that.
All right.
But Ronny was saying that, that it is realistic. And I was like, yeah, true. I'm just turning into my dad. That's my issue. He was in the army in 1980 to 85. He was in Ireland during the Troubles. So when he watches movies now, he's very sort of, we were watching Lethal Weapon a couple of years back, and there's that scene where Mel Gibson's shooting at the helicopter after that guy gets taken down. And he's just fucking shooting at a helicopter flying away. And my dad's just like, he's a Scottish guy. He's like, there's fucking no chance you're fucking hitting that helicopter, you twat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to watch Rambo now, or do you still enjoy that? Do you know what I mean?
He likes the first Rambo, but he hates the other ones.
Yeah, first Rambo's classic.
It is. They went. I don't know, man.
It's been fucking. The director was on coke.
He was, but he tried to do some like. I would have to look at the timeline. I want to say like it was some weird Indiana Jones type vibes you get from it, like with the action and with some of the slapstick. It's kind of like someone thought, yeah, let's do that Rambo, but let's add in some of that Indiana Jones action. I'd have to look at the years. It could be just a coincidence, or me just,
the Indiana Jones action fits in Indiana Jones.
It does. And that's why the Rambo action's kind of like, you got two Rambo fans. I know my grandmother is a diehard Rambo fan. She'll love it no matter what. She loves the first one to friggin' to the last one. And I like Sylvester Stallone a lot. But when I do get critical, it's like, yeah, the first one is on another level, a lot more grounded. And then you get the others where it is that popcorn action.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite Stallone movies has to be Demolition Man.
Amazing. And it predicted our future, creepily enough.
Well, it derives from it takes a lot of inspiration from a novel by Aldous Huxley called Brave New World. It came out in 1932, I believe. And it kind of, I didn't read all of the book because it wasn't my cup of tea. I was more of an Orwell fan. I was more of an Orwell guy. But you get this idea that there's this future society where everyone's at peace, but everyone is eugenics is a big thing in this society. So you can produce alphas, which are like the top tier of the civilization. Then you've got your epsilons, which are like the lower class, blue collar, working in the mines type of human beings.
Yeah.
So, and it talks about how people won't need books. People won't want to read books in the future anymore, you know, because everyone can just watch it in the movies and get it through. You know what I mean? Art, as it's known, is dead in this culture.
A lot of people I know listen to audiobooks now. I still prefer to read like pages normally, paperback.
That's what I mean. So it prophesies a society where it's like no one reads anymore because they can just get it on the screen. And this was in the 30s, you know, when TV first came out, people ridiculed it, saying there's no way you're going to make people stare at a fucking rectangle on the other side of the wall and make them do it for long periods of time. That's what people said when
they were way wrong.
Depends what you put in that rectangle.
Yeah. A lot of things, though, how we live has absolutely changed, though. With because I know my grandfather is really big into old stuff, just old cars and old this and old that, and a lot of it is just very different. Even the lifestyle of what people did and what they looked forward to. So to get people that were, really out there and active, a big majority of them were into camping and into these activities and in the sports. So to tell them that, you know, a huge part of the population in the future is going to be just kicking it, they're like, yeah, you're crazy. But no, we're there. But I was making a joke, though, of Demolition Man and how you can't curse and everyone's offended. Well, listen, 2021, this is the year of demolition. It predicted our future in that way.
Yeah, a very genteel society where no one can be offended anymore. And it's like, it's doesn't matter whether it's Brave New World or George Orwell 1984, we're fucked regardless of which outcome it is. And we're getting a bit of both, really. We're getting this kind of genteel society where you can't be outspoken or be crude in any way. And then the other society is a constant surveillance state. It's like, oh fuck, we're getting both. They were both right. So there's one thing I wanted to bring up as well. You know how like these days we have these shared universes, which are all very common for this younger generation. You know, when we were younger, shared universes were very rare, and when it happened, it was a special occasion. We're talking Alien versus Predator and Freddy versus Jason. I'm not too fussed about Alien versus Predator, but I've got all the time in the world for Freddy versus Jason.
Oh yeah,
all its flaws. I mean, have you ever done an episode on that yet? Flaws and Aws?
No, it's planned. It's in the works for. Actually, I'm not sure when to bring it out, but it is in the works for when I get to. Right now, I'm thinking do Friday the 13th up into that point. Stop, do Nightmare up into that point, and then I'll do them both.
Nice.
So I'm kind of still thinking because that'll put it a ways out.
Yeah.
But I want to do it now.
When so many fucking options, though. There's so many fucking options.
Oh yeah. Now, when you were saying you have all the time in the world for that, do you mean like to discuss it or to rip it apart? Because it kind of sounded like.
Oh no, I love the film.
Oh yeah.
But I only came to love it very recently. I hadn't really thought much about the film in maybe over a decade.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it when I first watched it as a kid, but as an adult, I never really gave much thought to it. And then I watched it and I thought, this film's fucking awesome. It's 2003. There was no shared universes. Comic book movies were if and when, really. 3 years or none at all. And so it was very rare to have these shared universes. And to have Freddy and Jason, it's like, fuck yeah, it was the best version we could have got, I reckon.
I'm trying to think. Do you remember the old, I don't know how old y'all are, but do you remember the old Hulk on TV? And I mean, that was still before my time, but I watched reruns.
Yeah, I remember a few episodes.
What's his name? Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. But remember the old Flash? A lot of people forget about this. But old Flash in the red suit.
I don't know.
The guy kind of reminded me of Bruce Campbell for some reason. Yeah, a lot of people forget this one, the Flash TV show, but I could have sworn there was a Flash and Hulk crossover, but I could just be losing my marbles on that. But it is true. It is true that it was really rare back in the day. Come on now. Where's
Don't get me wrong, I know that Freddy versus Jason is very, very flawed, but I think I love its flaws. I forgive it because of the time period.
I think his extreme power, Jason's, because when he punches people, they just go flying, don't they?
Yeah, they did. The actor who played Jason, he got fucked over, and they replaced him with some other actor.
Oh yeah, I think that one was sad. because Kane Hodder really, he was the actor doing Jason from, if I remember right, 7.
Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell and Manhattan, and then he even did
Jason X.
Jason X, and for him to get the boot, it's kind of like a sad thing because you could see where his passion was, and all to just make Jason or a bit taller. I think it was like 6 inches or 8 inches taller than what Kane Hodder was. I just thought it was kind of like, man, it would have been having Kane Hodder and Robert Englund. Yeah, man, that would have been amazing. But here's what that Flash guy looked like, if you can see my screen.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's
That
not too
was
bad, actually.
The 1990s Flash. I actually watched that as a kid. I was like friggin' 7, but
Sean and I are 29 years old, so we sort of the sort of superheroes we grew up with in the early days would have been the Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Gotcha.
Yeah, mostly cartoon, Batman, Spider-Man.
Yeah, but Lois and Clark was
original.
good, man. I really like Lois and Clark. Good fucking solid story, man. It lasted 6 seasons, so it must have done something right.
Yeah, it definitely did something right. I know we didn't have TV back then when that was on, so I didn't catch up with Lois and Clark, but I definitely knew it was popular. A lot of people talked about it. I liked Superman and Batman, but we just, for like a good chunk, we just didn't have TV for like 10 years. So I just was out of the loop on a lot of things when it came to that. Movies all day long, but we didn't have, we had a TV. I'm like in the country somewhere, we're throwing shit out a window, but we had a TV, we had a VCR. We just didn't have service. So,
yeah, satellite.
Yeah, there was nothing there. It was just 4 channels. So we got cartoons like Ninja Turtles, and then like, I don't even know, like Facts
that's like the shit I had for years until like we moved house. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I missed some of those, but they were wildly popular. I'll tell you what, I don't know if you're into goofy shit, but where is it? I
love goofy shit.
That Freddy versus Jason from NECA. You'd get a kick out of that for
the figure.
Yeah, he's up here with Roy. Where is he at? He's up there. It's the Freddy versus Jason, and it looks just like the movie. It's wild. But if you ever come across that, go ahead and pick him up, put him on your desk. He looks really good. Actually, I think all the NECA Jasons look just like the fucking show, for like $30.
Yeah, that figure with the thing you got, I bet that was rare as shit. Like, never see those about.
Which one?
The thing, the one you got.
Oh, you're talking about the McCready.
Yeah.
The thing.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is insane. Now that's my all-time favorite movie. I had to get McCready. I hope they come out with the monsters.
We don't have to ask you that at the end now. That's normally our ending.
Oh, really?
That's our segment. Yeah, what's your favorite movie? But no, the thing, we'll put that on the back burner for later, though. For sure. I love Kurt Russell as well. He's a fucking great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Stallone did good in Tango and Cash, and Escape from New York.
Well, I'll save a bonus movie for the ending that relates to Kurt Russell. So we'll squeeze something in there.
Yeah. Go back to title cards then. What about Zombieland opening? Does that piss you off?
That's actually a really good segue into something that normally you would look at it and be like, yeah, anything that breaks up that. However, when it comes to comedy, there's definitely some leniency there where it can work. Now, I would have to say I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't know. I can be as goofy as the next guy, or at least when I was growing up, I was a clown. You know what I mean? I love to just goof off. But I was really big on comedies. Like I like dark and serious and gritty horror movies and yada, yada, yada. But I appreciate the fact that there's something there with the little effects, and it adds a little something to it. I think they even do effects with Shaun of the Dead, if I remember right, a little bit. Nothing like, do they do effects with
Nothing
that?
Massive. When the dart goes in his head, there's a little squirt of CGI blood.
Is there?
And when what do you call that fucking stick that you whack a tennis ball around?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
the
no.
CGI stick thing.
Yeah. When Mary falls onto the spike.
Oh, the spike. Yeah. Probably the TVs have green screen in them.
Yeah, but nothing like
Yeah, nothing
Zombieland,
spectacular.
they did, yeah, like the specific rules on the screen.
Yeah, they didn't have much money either.
Do you know what's funny about that as well? Is that I love that humor, Edgar Wright, when everything, the mundane tasks were flash cuts. That was funny.
Yeah, brushing his teeth and shit.
Yeah, brushing his teeth, fucking making tea. Yeah, it's a very clever film. I've got all the time. Sorry, I don't want to take it off.
Oh, no, I was just going to finish by saying I think some comedies, when it works, it fits. So I cut them some slack on it. I don't think I would rip it, to be honest. I think it probably fits with Zombieland. I'm just not all that into comedies, which again, it's weird because I used to watch Happy Gilmore, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura all the time when I was a kid, like back to back.
Yeah, no, I struggle with comedy movies these days. I'm more better with stand-up and podcasts and stuff like that because I just you kind of know the personality you wanted to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And with comedy, like you just kind of like, oh fuck, what, is this gonna be good or not? And there's not been many great comedies in the 2010s compared to the 2000s before it.
Exactly. A lot of times it just feels like back in the day, it really felt like some of the classics had a story that they told and they cared about the story. Nowadays, the story feels like just something that is they're obligated to put in to kind of keep the movie in line somehow, and it's all about just stupid funny shit in each scene. That's how modern comedy feels, and I don't know, I can't get into it. I like the even freaking Ace Ventura, man. It's like slapstick humor, but it actually has a story there and it follows, like people care to crafted that story to it. Modern comedy just doesn't have that for the most part.
One time,
it's the rhino scene when he's coming out.
Mate, yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I remember getting really high once. I got really high and watched Ace Ventura, the first one, and I had this sudden profound awareness, like, hang on a minute, there's a plot happening, and then there's Jim Carrey. It's like, because he was doing a lot of improvisation, wasn't he? And he had a bit of writing credit to the script, so he probably just wrote shit in last minute. And it's like there's this whole plot happening around him. Yeah. There's these set designs, and then there's just him doing Jim Carrey things. And
that's probably why some of it comes out of nowhere and it's wild as shit, but it still fits somehow,
That's what I mean, yeah. And I'm thinking, fucking, he had a great year that year. That was his year when he came onto the radar, 1994.
Yeah.
And again, they're all comedies, but The Mask. What about The Mask? Would you settle for that? Because that's
I would. I like The Mask. And again, I think The Mask is another good example of something that can work because when he finds the mask up until that point, The Mask is similar to Green Lantern, if there's any Green Lantern fans, in my opinion, because everything's real and grounded up until he finds the mask. Even the mask is a little wooden mask, but then as soon as it makes connection to his face, it turns into like partially like animated in a way, but well, it's not, but you know what I mean? Like with the CGI, it's so animated. He pulls out guns. And that's why I said it's similar to Green Lantern because of his power to create these objects. The Mask does that as well in a similar way. But for The Mask, with how just goofy it is, they somehow made it and it works, maybe similar to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as ridiculous as it is, it just works somehow.
And it's groundbreaking as well, especially Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going back to VFX artists react, when you see the behind the scenes, you see the chairs and the piano moving themselves, and someone had to paint that shit back in there.
I should watch that one. I think that would be I haven't seen that one. That would be an interesting one to check out.
I'm a little bit behind as well, just because, maybe it's just another silly pet peeve, but I feel like their ads are getting longer and longer. And we're getting like fucking 6 minutes of actual episode.
On YouTube, I actually have YouTube Red, so I haven't seen a single ad in years. I freaking love it.
Not so much ads, not even so much external ads, their own ads.
Oh, their own ads.
Like fucking 5 minutes of like.
Yeah, so like there's a 15-minute video, you're really only getting 9 to 10 minutes. Maybe that sounds petty, I don't know.
No, I skip when people put their own ads in. I skip the shit out of it quickly because I know if I'm gonna buy a crotch lawnmower, you don't have to sell me for 10 minutes. I know 2 seconds when it comes on. I know if what's the other one that's real popular?
Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends or the
ExpressVPN.
ExpressVPN.
Yeah.
I know in 3 seconds whether I want it or not. I don't need to hear the whole ad, so I'm just like.
I know people have got to make their money, but at least make the episode 30 minutes long and then have 10 minutes of ads. I don't mind. Fucking give me more content, motherfucker. No, I'm joking.
We'll split the ads up. Like,
well, Ben
I don't
Shapiro,
know.
like,
I don't know if you can do that.
sometimes I'll watch Ben Shapiro clips with my girlfriend, and she fucking loves the ads. She's like, no, keep the ad on, and it's Ben Shapiro trying to sell a mattress. She just finds it hilarious. She thinks it's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Shit.
Like, get Helix. I can't even do the advert, but it's, you know, Helix mattress, and it's like the best night's sleep you ever get. Or then when he tries selling you a gun, it just cracks me up. It's just really funny. He just turns to the other camera, and just starts rattling on. And the way he segues his ads into the really serious topic. He's before we get into that, next. Anyway, so sorry, went off on a little tangent there. But yeah, when it comes to going back to shared universes or cinematic universes back in our youth, Alien versus Predator was another one, and that was quite hyped up because I'm a big fan of Predator 2. It's not a popular opinion, but I really like Predator 2. And towards the end of that movie, you're inside the Predator ship, and there's a little room of trophies. It's just the spinal columns and skulls of their enemies, and one of them happens to be an alien. And like, that was it. That started the rumors.
Bro, I still remember seeing that as a kid, and my whole life I was nuts about Predator, right? And I loved Aliens as well. But when I saw that as a kid, my immediate thought, and I was young too, I'm talking little, my immediate thought was, oh my God, somebody like who worked on the set or something threw an alien head there, because that's too cool to ever happen in real life. You know, I just thought like that would be the coolest shit ever as a kid. And when it was announced, I was like, oh man, come on. I think it was a comic first, and I thought like, oh, there might be some hope.
I remember PC game came out in like the late 90s that I played, where you could play the alien, the Predator, and you could play the soldier.
It was like an RTS where you click and tell them where to go and shit.
No. It was like you could actually move around.
Oh.
Very like the alien could crawl up walls and stuff like that and spit acid. The Predator had all these gadgets, different visions, different missiles, and the human was just fucking running around for their life, trying not to get killed. But it was a great game. And, you know, I was disappointed by the movie. I mean, fucking just throwing it out there, how would you guys make it better? Just out of curiosity.
Not. I don't know if you can you mix Alien Predator and make it cool?
The Antarctica was a good bit. I like the Antarctica bit.
I think Aliens fuck Predators up all day long.
Nah, Predators are resilient, aren't they?
I think it's a bit tricky, because one thing I thought was odd is they never touched the well, maybe they did, and they just didn't do it in a good way. Like, for example, how the Predators can cloak. I messed up, like for the aliens, for example, you would think, all right, the aliens, especially if you get a lot of them, they're going to be tough. The Predators got like the laser cannon and shit, but at the end of the day, these people got acid, blood, and there's like 100 of them when they start infesting the area. So it's going to be difficult for the Predators to defeat them like that. But I'm shocked they didn't use something with the cloaking system, like so the aliens can see them when they're cloaking. I mean, they should have used that as just extra benefit for the Predator, just to make the fight seem a little bit more on a level field. And what's weird though is you go from AVP, which I agree, it's definitely better than what they did after. But what's weird is the next one, it seemed like that wasn't good enough. So now we have an alien and Predator versus a Predator. I was like, okay. I mean, the monster's still cool, but I'm still pissed at the tagline, because when I was little, I remembered no matter who wins, we lose. And I was like, bro, we're fucked. Like, this is going to be off the hook. And then I watch it and I'm like, how do we lose if we team up with the Predator? No matter who wins, we lose. What the fuck are you guys doing? If you look now, I'm almost positive they got made fun of so much that they removed that tagline, but you can still find it if you look up the old stuff. I wonder what the new tagline is, because I swear
we win anyway.
The thing was, though, I don't think there was much communication back in the day when it came to marketing these films, because it's like they just made it up. They just look at a picture and say, "Oh, whoever wins, we lose." Like, doesn't even probably know what Alien versus Predator is.
And it didn't make sense when you
pulled out their ass. Yeah, I don't know. Just speculating.
I still think Aliens fuck Predators up all day long.
All right, I changed my mind, because you are right. Now that you've added the whole, element of lots of aliens. They are like a hive, aren't they?
They
But that's
swarm,
the
and
thing.
then they've got the big boss at the end, the Queen Xenomorph. You know,
But what about one alien versus one predator?
Oh, Predator.
I still think aliens fuck the Predator up.
I'm going with
It's
predator.
Predator.
He's got a
good.
laser cannon at a distance. He'll get him.
He's got armor. He's got space armor that isn't even on the periodic table.
You ain't gonna give the aliens a chance, are you?
Fuck
The
yeah,
alien,
mate.
the single alien, are you?
Look,
You know what I mean?
Alien's smart, man, but it's this ain't happening, bro.
It's smart, and the Predator needs all these weapons
All right,
because it's dumb.
Let's make it up a little bit. All right, Alien
Can you-
versus
Can you mute him?
yeah. Alien versus Danny Glover.
Oh, Danny Glover all day. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
all right, okay, yeah, Danny Glover. I'll give you that
Talking about? How could you even say such a thing?
Yes,
What's that joke they do? What's that joke they do on How They Met Your Mother? What's that saying he says in Lethal Weapon? I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah, I'm
Something.
getting too over this shit. I fucking love Lethal Weapon, but I don't want to go on too many tangents. Alien versus Predator. One of my favorite things in Predator 2 is when Gary Busey manages to trap the Predator in a meat freezer.
Yeah.
Because they realized that they've been studying the Predator for the last 10 years.
What the fuck happened to Gary Busey, man? I remember he had like late 80s, early 90s. He was
motorcycle accident.
All right, okay, that explains it a bit.
Fucked him up.
Oh, that's what I mean. You mean in the movie or in real life? Because in real life, I'm not sure. It was a motorcycle accident.
There's a YouTube channel called Joe Blow Videos, and he does a lot of what is called the What the Fuck series, or what WTF happened. You know, what happened to such and such. And it'll be Charlie Sheen, it'll be John Travolta, and he does really good jobs on them. He even does them on movies. Like quite a fascinating one was when he done. I hadn't even seen this film either, Waterworld, but just hearing behind the scenes was fascinating.
That used to be my stepdad's favorite movie, and fuck me, it used to bore me to shit.
Waterworld.
Yeah, I used to watch it every Sunday without fail, and I used to sit there like, what the fuck, stepdad?
I haven't seen the film. I just know behind the scenes that it was a fucking nightmare.
I think it's because he had webbed feet. He related to it. I don't know.
Mate, I dated. I'm not gonna tell that story.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah, no.
It was supposed to be an epic. It ended up being an epic.
Yeah,
it was, and the thing is, it was the last epic ever made from a physical perspective. That was the last practical sets, like massive set pieces ever made. Apparently,
I mean, some of the camera work and the visuals are cool, but the film is just
they actually built a floating fortress, you know, and there was a storm which destroyed it, and it cost like $1 million to rebuild it again, or $4 million, something like that. And Kevin Costner and the director, who were good mates, fell out with one another.
No shit.
It was a disaster to make.
Ain't he like hard to work with?
I don't know. He's a director, isn't he? So I guess he won an Oscar over Goodfellas in 1990 with Dances with Wolves, which was a disgrace. The Goodfellas should have won that shit.
Goodfellas should have won. Listen, I
Dances with Wolves boring as shit.
I love Dances with Wolves. I even bought the extra extended, like 4-hour, 5-hour version. I love Dances with Wolves, but Goodfellas is that's one of my top probably 10 all-time.
Yeah, that's in my top 10. It's got to be us.
Yeah,
one of the best films.
That is.
Casino's great as well.
Casino's good too. There's I think there was like a handful of them. Bronx Tale, Casino, Goodfellas. Obviously The Godfather, Scarface, but what's the other one?
Carter's Way.
There's one I haven't seen
Carlito's
called
Way.
Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh, you know what? That one is a little slower of the classics, but it's worth a watch. I'm pretty sure it has Robert De Niro in that, don't it?
Yeah, and Al Pacino and Joe Pesci.
Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, yeah. What was another good one with
the Good Irishman.
Irishman. I could have.
Oh, we're talking heist movies. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
What?
Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
No, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen it?
No, man, I'm a bit behind on my. I can never pronounce the name of the universe.
Oh well, someone makes a film on a comic book their likeness is based on, and don't get the movie rights, so they go to Hollywood to stop the movie being made to get the movie rights. And
It's quite a recent film, isn't it?
nah,
Well, the
Strikes
sequel's
Back
recent.
comes out in 2001.
I'm thinking of Reboot. Sorry.
Yeah, Reboot came out in 2019, maybe. I don't know.
Mm.
It wasn't. It was more fan service, I think. They're a bit old now, aren't they? So can't be playing a skeevy stoner in your 50s.
No, that's true. And they do look.
No.
I saw a trailer. I saw like a little snippet of them. But I was like, man, they look fucked, especially that Jay.
Yeah, but he's been clean now for like a good 12 years or something.
I know, but I think like when you.
But I think the years of abuse has just took its toll.
It
Maybe,
definitely did.
Yeah.
I've had a bit of a blank, so just bear with me. I edit all this shit anyway, so don't worry about it.
Shaky. You go back to Shaky Cam. Have you ever seen a zombie series called Dead Set? It's a UK one.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Same guy that did Black Mirror.
What did you think of the Shaky Cam and that?
Dead Set was one I just couldn't get into. I'm
No.
trying to remember. Wasn't Dead Set based off of something else? I know there was two versions of it.
Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah, no, I know.
No, it's just a Big Brother.
But they did a zombie Big Brother one already. There's Dead Set because I remember somebody going, "Hey, have you seen Dead Set?" And I checked it out, and I was like, "Oh, that's just like this other zombie movie." Maybe I'm mixing it up. Maybe I just watched Dead Set twice or something. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. The characters, the shaky cam.
I think the first 3 episodes are a chore, but when you get to the final 2, I think, oh man, it's hard to explain. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good message. The message behind it, like, because it ends with zombies staring into the camera, like the TVs. And that's like the whole message behind it is, you watch too much shit, you're gonna turn into a zombie.
Yeah.
Weird, wasn't it? There was kind of a zombie resurgence, wasn't there, in the late 2000s?
Early 2000s, man. I think.
Well, yeah, there was that, but then there's like a second, then there's a little dry spell, and then bang, you've got Zombie Land.
I wouldn't say Army of the Dead counts. It's dog shit, and I wouldn't say it's a sequel either.
And then you had Left 4 Dead game series. Yeah, guys ever played Left 4 Dead?
Left 4 Dead's dope.
That's what I mean.
I had a lot of fun with Left 4 Dead, but yeah, there was a bit of a dry spell. I think even when there was zombie stuff coming out, I think a big problem was it wasn't that great. You had your hits here and there, but there was nothing that the fandom just, I don't know. There was nothing that satisfied their appetite. You know what I mean? Pun intended. And then when The Walking Dead came out in 2010, again, it was cinematic and it was grounded and gritty, and that's just what the fans were looking for. And
I think the remake of Day of the Dead put me off zombie movies for a while, good couple of years. I was like, it's gone too far. It's gone way too far.
The remake of Day of the Dead.
Yeah,
that one was bad
with Nick Cannon in it and shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was like next level atrocious.
Yeah, and the zombies were just like demons. They're climbing up vents and shit, and man, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they were like smart experiment zombies.
I tell you what, the only cool part about that movie is the whole radio scenario, where he's like got a couple people in the radio station, the guy that owns it, but he's bitten, isn't he? And he wants he's like just an asshole, and like he gets a couple people in. I don't know. It's a shit film anyway.
Yeah, 2010 you had the Walking Dead premiere, didn't you?
Yeah,
2010. And I was late. I was late to the series. I heard all about it, but I didn't actually start watching it until 2015.
Oh, really?
Those first 6 episodes of season 1 grabbed me immediately. I mean, I saw the similarities of 28 Days Later with Rick waking up in the hospital, but it just grabbed me straight away, and it makes sense because you had Frank Darabont at the time taking the helm. That and
the comics start like a couple months after 28 Days Later, or was it before?
The 28 Days Later came first, and in all honesty, I know. In all honesty, I think pretty sure Kirkman addressed this. The guy who wrote and created The Walking Dead, but in all honesty, he most likely just copied it, because if you look at what was going on, his story was definitely different when he pitched it to Image. And even the beginning was just Rick and his wife sitting watching the news, and zombies burst in the door. It was like really generic, and it was just not the way to open a book. He probably ended up, seeing 28 Days Later and thought like, oh man, you know what? I got this zombie book. I just need to put it out to get something going. It's not even going to get that popular enough for people to even really notice, but it's something to kickstart his story. He didn't know it was going to become what it became, but in all likelihood, if I had to bet, and we had like the eyes of God to see what happened, I bet you any money he just borrowed the idea.
It's just different enough to be like a faithful hint nod, it's not complete copying. Because he wakes up in the middle of London. He wakes up in a hospital.
Yeah, do they even say how he gets in the hospital, or does he just wake up? I forget now.
He crashes his car, doesn't he? No, he gets shot. Or are you talking about 28 days?
28 days later.
Oh, he's a bike messenger.
No, he just wakes up.
He's a bike messenger, and he gets hit by a van or something.
Oh, really?
When he just lies there and no one notices.
No, because he wakes up in hospital, doesn't he? It's empty.
No, in 28 days later, he wakes up in the middle of London, don't he?
No, he wakes up in hospital.
Yeah, he wakes up in a hospital, and then he walks out to London, and it's
right, okay.
Yeah.
I'm misremembering, but yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I think the second season of The Walking Dead as well. I think the first couple of episodes, when Sophia goes missing, is a bit of a drag, but then it ends really well.
That mid-season reveal, man, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was big.
Oh.
So was that when Frank Darabont was booted out? Was it? I mean, what was the problems with season 2? Because what direction was he taking it versus where they wanted to take it?
Well, from there's a bunch of different notes of what was going on, emails, I should say, between Darabont, and some of it did get leaked out or put out in interviews, and it looked like AMC definitely started it. What became the riff? If you just from an unbiased perspective just looked right down, what happened was The Walking Dead season 1 just blew up, and it became like you can see that it was going to be something really big. And instead of AMC going, yo, this is it, let's put money into it, increase the episodes, bulk out the budget, what do you guys need, blah blah blah. Instead of doing that, they penalized them, and for no reason. I mean, even people in the industry, unless there's hidden info that I don't know about, it seemed like they just turned around and they went, all right, well, how do we get the most amount of money out of this period? Because they increased the episodes. They either kept the what they did something where, because I know the budget went like it shifted a tiny bit. I don't know if it was in season 2 or season 3, but the money either stayed the same or increased a tiny bit. You can look up the exact numbers. But they did take away the tax because they got a tax break. And instead of that money going into the production and the actors and all that, AMC took that. And that was just like a little small thing that, why would AMC even need to take that? And AMC started telling Frank Darabont to save money. Yeah, that's what it is. They increased the episodes and they decreased the budget. And Frank Darabont said, yo, how do you expect me to do this? And they said, well, start filming indoors more. Really stupid, really, really dumb. Like, do you have to see the zombies? Can't you just hear them outside? They come up with really dumb ways to get around it budget-wise. And this is shit we see in modern day Walking Dead. And that's why I'm always ranting about the budget. Because if you look at the notes AMC gave to Frank Darabont that are shit notes, they do that now often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think that's one of the things that gets on my nerves a little bit with any TV series is too much melodrama, too much side stories. And you start to see that creep in season 2 a little bit. Yeah,
and the reason for that was because Frank Darabont wanted to explore more of the world building, and I'm not really in love with the idea, but he wanted to showcase the zombie in the tank and how the zombie got there. That idea I'm not in love with, only because I want to see what happens to the characters. I really don't care about some zombie that isn't a character that's already dead, you know. But who knows? It could have had like a cooler purpose. But what ended up happening was because AMC and Frank Darabont got into this riff, they started doing the melodrama between the characters because they couldn't actually go and film anywhere. There was no money to film anywhere. They were just like in the woods outside of Herschel's farm, you know, they couldn't do shit. So they just started scripting these, you know, conflicts.
Yeah, because I'm sure
people.
Shane shaves his head in like episode 2.
Yeah.
And it takes what, 7, 8 episodes before the build up to climax. And
Yeah,
they add characters in, like the dude who gets his leg trapped on they add him in for extra tension and shit to make Shane go a bit more mental.
Are you
know
talking
what I mean?
about
what's the guy's name? Because up until that point, because they have that little shootout in the bar, which is dope.
Yeah, are you talking about Randall or whatever? The
yeah,
guy that
Randall, yeah. He's just thrown in there.
Yep, they kind of argue over a prisoner, and again, it keeps them indoors. They're in a barn, arguing about what to do with a prisoner, and it's all, what do we do with this prisoner? What do we do about the pregnancy? I'll be honest though, and I've said this the whole time, even though AMC really shit the bed with season 2 and strangling the budget and everything, with what they had, I really enjoy the acting and the character work. There's a lot of stuff I wish they were able to do more. Absolutely. But I still really enjoy the character work for what they were able to do. And the Sophia thing, I still think is one of the best moments in The Walking Dead. It's just such a shame AMC had to, because imagine season 2 now. Imagine if AMC actually supported it fully from the gate. It could have been, probably incredible. Season 3 also.
Yeah, I tapped out after the beginning of season 4 when everyone starts getting ill in the prison.
Yeah.
But then I was just out. I was in a relationship where we were watching The Walking Dead together, and we broke up at that point. So when I moved back to my mum's, I was like, "Fuck Walking Dead." I started getting high and watching the shit I wanted to watch. You know what I mean? Fucking Blade Runner, fucking Wayne's World.
I think season 4 and 5 is the seasons you have to power through the most, I think.
Yeah, and the whole flu thing was just dragging on and on and on, and then we broke up. So I was like, "Fuck it."
And you can power through them, then you're golden.
You could definitely see.
I'm curious to know. I am curious to know though, like, how well did it go from season 4?
Yeah, you don't give a shit. We spoil it now.
Yeah, let's go ahead, mate.
All right, let me ask you this: what's your favorite moment in The Walking Dead ever?
Favorite moment? Oh, sorry,
Ronny.
Your screen actually cut out on my end. All I heard is
your favorite moment in The Walking Dead ever.
Favorite moment ever?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
One.
Just one all-time favorite moment. I have a second to think about it. Do you have a favorite moment?
I do.
You do. Because as much as I love the Sophia reveal, I don't think that's gonna be my favorite moment. I would have to say favorite moment.
Mine probably wouldn't be what you expect either.
No.
No.
This would be a lot easier if I can have like 5 favorite moments. I don't want 5. I'm just saying, like, oh man, you gotta
3.
pick the one. No, I just want to pick one. I'm just saying it's kind of hard because I even have like stupid favorite moments, like like Rick waking up in the hospital with the don't open dead inside doors, like the atmosphere there. It's small. There's no even like there's not even anything going on outside of like the main reveal of him waking up, but it's a moment that I friggin' love. But give me a second. I think I would have to go with damn.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Well, no, we ain't thought about it.
So I'm just writing something down. Crack on.
What's your favorite moment while I'm thinking of it?
Well, you know what? Oh, sorry.
Mine's so small and subtle, and it's so far into the series. The middle of series 9, the episode after, episode 7, I'm gonna say. No, after the mid-season break, they come back and Eugene and Rosita go down the hill, and the Whisperers for the first time, you hear them go like whispering.
Yeah, that's a badass scene. That
Gives
is,
me
I can
fucking
see that.
goosebumps.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a badass
Because
scene.
the whole way through, like they're just normal walkers, and then all of a sudden, near the end of the series, they're talking, and you don't know what the fuck. I mean, unless you ain't read the comics, you don't know what the fuck's going on. It's fucking creepy.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being in there.
Yeah, I love it.
It's been like 5 years since I've watched it, so my memory's.
What's yours then with what you watched up to so far?
Well, obviously the second mid-season twist was shocking. Like just seeing that fucking zombie girl walking out with a fucking and you just the slow reveal. I'm just like, oh my god, we actually thought she was going to get found. She was there all along.
Yeah, I love how Shane gives him so much shit, and Rick's the one, to put her down. Shane can't even do it. It's like that was the moment. I swear, it felt like the fan base, in a large part, what online was rooting for Shane and mad at Rick. And after that moment, it was like a huge reversal. There was so many people that were now like on Team Rick. It was crazy. Because for a minute there, I was shocked by how many people were like anti-Rick as a character. But then he won them over big time. It's man, there's part of me that wants to go with the No Way Out, with Rick and all. But I'm going to stick with yeah, I'm going to stick with I'm gonna go with Rick killing Shane. I'm gonna go with that one. I really like that. Outside of normally I always pick the Sophia reveal. I think that the waking up, the reveal with the hospital, it might be too it might be too soft, but I still, that atmosphere, it's probably it's probably
silence as well. It's just
it probably is my all-time favorite scene, but I think for something that's happening and with character and how it unfolds, I'm gonna go with the Rick and Shane showdown.
Because I recently just watched up to series 5, and the acting between Rick and Andrew Lincoln and what's his face,
John Bernthal.
The acting just oh man, I can't even. It just moves my speechless, man. Just the fucking acting between them two.
Yeah, they were a good fit.
I missed that.
This is not Walking Dead related, but one thing I always admire, which is in 28 Days Later, is the fact that they managed to film in central London at like 4 a.m. in the summer, and there was no traffic. How they got away with that? It's
definitely impressive.
Like they were quite a shoestring budget as well, so they had to act quick. And I think that was pre 9/11 as well, so that's why it was possible, and it wouldn't have been possible post 9/11. I think I might be wrong on that. I want to double check that, but I'm 90% sure. I'm 90% sure it was pre 9/11. They filmed that scene.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
And
some of that stuff, when it's done practical, man, it's so impressive. That's a lot of people you gotta, that's a lot of people you gotta play puppet master with,
Another interesting one is, sorry.
No, even just locking down a scene, that shit's crazy.
Well, it would have been possible during lockdown. Fucking any aspiring filmmaker out there is like, yes,
true.
I've got my B shot.
True.
Some guy's been waiting for like 11 years.
And actually, it would have been perfect timing for more practical
opportunity, man. But then we've just been copying the scene of someone waking up again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because apparently that's the reason why 28 months later hasn't been released. Is because they said that The Walking Dead has just stole every idea they've ever had.
Really?
Because it was
How's that possible?
I don't know who writes it. Is it John Hodges, who did the script for Trainspotting alongside Danny Boyle, and Alex Garland, I want to say.
But that's impossible. That the comic would have been at least miles in before they even come up with the idea for 28 months later.
No, because 28 Days Later was 2002, and then 28 weeks later was 2007, and then so Walking Dead comes out 3 years later.
Yeah, but the comic it's been out for about 9 years by this point.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just being really a bit of a dick right now. But
because the way 28 Weeks Later finished is that the virus had spread out of England and was into Europe, Paris. It's like, I want to know where the fuck this is going. It's been 14 years.
I think they could do something. I think part of the problem though is they might be thinking a little more along the lines of because it is sometimes you do get those blinders like, okay, this is a zombie movie, so this is what we have to do. And I think there's definitely stuff they can do. Even when I was writing my comic, I was shocked the more I would think about um, different story elements that you wouldn't find on The Walking Dead, just some new and fresh stuff. The more I thought about it, the more I was shocked that a lot of stuff is still just never been done before, and especially certain ways to do things. And for a minute there, I swore there was an idea I had for Doomsday Kingdom, and for a minute there, I swore The Walking Dead was going to get to it. Just as a general example, would be to revert the world back to like imagine the Wild West, but in the ruins of like our modern world. So you have like Wild West communities, but it's within the ruins of modern day because of the outbreak. And The Walking Dead doesn't do that. They go with these really stale settlements or groups, and they always have leaders with the same old song and dance constantly. Even look at season 11. Somebody was like, Ronny, you got to talk about the new images for season 11, and I got excited. I'm like, okay, new images, let's see it. And they sent me a picture of some fucking assholes wearing white masks. And it's like, holy fuck, who is in charge of this? There's no way this is an accident. We just had assholes with white masks on Fear the fucking Walking Dead. They do this every season. They'll do something they'll do something in The Walking Dead. They'll repeat it in Fear. They'll do something in Fear. They'll fucking repeat it in The Walking Dead. I don't understand. There's no way it's an accident. There's no fucking way. So, I don't know if either one of you watch Fear.
No,
you have no doubt after 5.
I wrote down some points saying that I wanted to ask what your thoughts were on The Talking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead.
Well, Fear is just trash. Just trash.
Season 1, episode 1.
It's a prequel. Potential. For those who don't know, it's a prequel to The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
The
first episode had fucking potential, but after that,
it really did. I mean, they had potential to do some really clever stuff. And they did have a cast, but they went a weird direction with the story. And again, I blame it on budget, because as soon as the story started picking up, they did a time skip, and now we're no longer a prequel, and we're Walking Dead all over again. But anyway, Fear had a group with white masks, and they ended up being bad guys, but oh, psych, not really bad guys. We know this person from The Walking Dead. Anyway, so yeah, when they sent me the picture of season 11 of the Reapers, and they're the new bad guys, or some of the new bad guys, it looks like the Purge, wearing the white masks. And it's a combination of the white masks from Fear with Negan and the Saviors having all the weapons. It's like, come on, man. I just can't wait. I fucking loved The Walking Dead for so many years. I just can't wait for it to be over with, because it's just embarrassing itself with the repetitive nature of the storytelling, the characters, the visuals, and what they're doing. It's insane. But
yeah, I hear that the magic number for a TV show is 7 seasons.
Yeah, I hear it.
Simpsons, as a prime example. 2.5 Men, maybe. Did that make it to 7 seasons?
Yeah, that's like, I don't know, 13, I think, with Ashton Kutcher in the end.
Yeah. So yeah, that 7 seems to be the golden rule. So would you say that the same with The Walking Dead, 7 seasons? Or
well, here's the thing is, normally I would disagree. I think The Walking Dead definitely could have rocked 10 easy amazing seasons without even breaking a sweat. But the restrictions on the budget alone made that damn near impossible. And what we've got, sure, it's not great. You know what I mean? It's not even close to great. Could they have done better? And would it have worked for that long? I believe 100%. I strongly believe it would have rocked. But they just didn't do a good enough story to keep people invested.
At least they were more faithful to the source material than the fucking Resident Evil films.
Well, that is very true, because Resident Evil films are garbage, in my opinion.
Fuck, I stopped after the first one. First one's all right.
Can you imagine if they did it right? First film related to the... Oh, my goodness.
It would be a banger. And it wouldn't just be a banger. It would revitalize the financial gain from the franchise overall. And that's what I don't understand with these businesses. Like, they must not even need the money, want the money, care about money, but they're in business to make money because they're coming up with new IPs. But if you did a proper Resident Evil movie, they're doing a Netflix TV show that's going to flop. I can tell you right now. Just because
the actors.
It'll flop. There's no way it'll succeed. But if you did one with a passionate group and it was a proper movie, listen, man, you have a whole new set of movies that can create a whole new set of revenue for the merchandise and the figures and statues and, t-shirts and mugs and so on and so on.
Yeah, 100%. We need to find the buy the rights.
Yeah. So with The Walking Dead, is this could be the last season on 11 now, right?
Yeah.
Technically, I mean,
there's spin-offs happening as well.
Well, that's where it gets technical. If you want, for the technical purpose, yes, the main series of The Walking Dead, if you're going to be technical, then yes, it's going to come to an end with season 11. That's it. It's an extended season of 24 episodes or 22, something like that. So that'll be all done. But they are going to continue in that universe, and they're still going to have stories with Daryl and Carol on a different show. They're going to have an anthology series. They did say they had a comedy in the works, but then they stopped talking about it. And it's been 2 years now. Yeah, a comedy and a musical they had in the works. And it's been 2 years now since COVID. COVID might have been like the saving grace, because ever since COVID, they haven't said a word, but they no bullshit. I did a video.
A musical?
Yeah, a fucking musical.
Fucking musical. What the fuck?
Bro.
It's funny when you get like these email leaks with Sony or something like that, and you see some of the ideas they're passing back and forth, and you're thinking, fucking hell, some of the ideas I have are shocking. The fact you'd even send an email saying that. If I sent an email with some of the ideas that have been leaked to Sean, wouldn't be my friend.
Right? Some of these people, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, we should do Men in Black in 22 Jump Street. It's like, all right, good luck with that.
That's why I think more and more independent creators need to step up and start doing something. I mean, I got my comic. I know other YouTubers and other creators are coming out doing something. Besides the comic, I would love to get involved in doing like a horror short, not even short, but like an independent horror movie, something that we can put on Blu-ray, have our own limited sales. We can feature it or premiere it on YouTube, because that's where we started from. I am working on a script, kind of playing around with ideas, but it's definitely something I'm passionate about. But I think more and more people in the independence needs to rise up and do something similar, because we don't have that same mentality, but the same restrictions as Hollywood, where when you see how Hollywood functions, and they go, okay, we have to play it safe, even when they're doing something kind of new. What they'll do is they'll say, this worked this way and this worked this way, so as you're building it together, you need to do this, this, and this, and this. But newcomers, they're like, listen, as a horror fan, I believe in this. I believe it'll scare people. I believe in how atmospheric it is, how immersive it is. I think the kill count is good, the practical kills, and people will love that shit. The killer looks awesome and yada, yada, yada. People will eat it up. Hollywood, they just can't get out of their own damn way half the time.
Well, there's this thing, I've mentioned this a few times on previous podcasts, but we are now entering the prosumer era, where the producer and the consumer become the same thing.
Yeah.
You as a content creator, you are a consumer first, but now you create the things that you consume.
It's definitely true.
And
especially with technology.
And it's going to kill Hollywood. Yeah. They're just going to phase themselves out, because they were the only ones that had the marketing and the money. But now social media has made marketing free. And we're all interconnected.
I was just going to say, have you seen that short movie, the Jason one, the like fan made. I forget what it's called.
You're talking about Don't Hike Alone, Never Hike
Yeah,
Alone.
yeah.
I've seen that. I've
There's-
seen a handful of them, but they did real good with that one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, you've got people doing their own little Star Wars shorts with the Darth Maul fan movie.
Oh, that Darth Maul one was awesome, man.
The Darth Vader one, his dream. You know, it was all good shit.
Yeah, there's a few good ones that are even so good. People say, for me, that's canon to Star Wars. I know I saw one that was like the origin story to like the Rancor Beast or something. And I remember being like, yo, that's so good. For me, that's canon. And you can watch it on YouTube right now. It's just like a short that people made. There's other wild sci-fi futuristic type alien stuff that people have made. And they're done incredibly well. I think you do have a point where Hollywood will be competing against its own customers because the customers are getting sick of what's out there and what's available. Like me, I'm a consumer of Hollywood. I'm a movie fanatic. I love them. I've loved them since I was young, but I don't love what type of movies they're giving me anymore. So I think we should create our own. Like I want to create my own movie, at least a few, and do it and see what happens. So now I went from being their customer to their customer / competitor. And I think there's a lot more, especially on YouTube. There's a ton more people who have that same mind frame where they want to create their own thing. I think Hollywood as a whole, if they wanted to at least, slow down the bleeding, so to speak, they should start just partnering up with some of those people that are coming out doing stuff. Like obviously I haven't done a project yet, so I would have to show and prove, but others that have, like the Never Hike Alone, when they show and prove, approach them and say, well, let's start small, let's do a project, because if they're doing something that the internet is going wild over, and it's comparable to something that you have going on in Hollywood, but you're paying millions in promotion and marketing, then you're doing something wrong. Because if you didn't pay anything in marketing, and this person didn't pay shit, really just put it on and word of mouth did it, then you're doing, I think Hollywood should start partnering up with fresh talent.
Well, Sega did the right thing. Someone had basically made their own Sonic emulator or something along those lines.
I heard something about this a little bit.
They made their own Sega emulator. I think it might be the Mega Drive, and Sega hired them.
Yeah.
And that's when they brought out the mini version. There was a little hype going on a few years ago. Mini NES, mini SNES, mini PlayStation, and mini Mega Drive, I think.
I think it was my brother telling me something about Sonic and emulation. They were doing something, but yeah, that's definitely the way to do it.
Whereas Nintendo just fucking, what's it, DNC?
DMCA. Yeah, they'll DMCA everybody. Nintendo is a bit stingy like that.
Is it the Japanese culture, do you think? They're just a bit more what's not the word tribal. They're very tribal, aren't they? They really honor the head of state sort of thing, whether it be the company or something.
Yeah, I think it's definitely that, and a combination of things. For them, I don't think they view it as like fans sharing it. They view it as like the corporate itself. You know what I'm saying? Like YouTube itself as a corporate. I think they care more about that than just regular fans, because everything we put out, everything fans put out, corporate taxes it anyhow. Even if you don't say it, you make money on YouTube. Well, YouTube is really getting 80% of your revenue. You know what I'm saying? So in my eyes, I think they view it greater on that side of things, and they're like just cutting out the corporate, just keeping everything to themselves and not messing about. But it definitely, culture definitely plays a role in that as well.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're starting to get towards the end now, Ronnie, so you wanted to mention you just want to let's just get, it's like 10:30 at night here now, but real quickly, I want to talk about The Thing.
I was gonna say it is my all-time favorite movie, hands down. And I think I chose that because someone asked me a few years ago what my favorite movie was. And I was like, man, same thing with what's your favorite moment in The Walking Dead? I'm like, I don't know. I love so many different moments. How do I pick just one? But because every time I think of one moment, I'm like, nah, but then I really like this moment. But when it comes to your favorite movie, I had to make the decision of or I had to choose The Thing, because it's one of those movies where I can watch it 100 times. I could watch it twice in a row. Um, and I just never tire of it. I always just relax to it and just watch it. Even if I've, and I've seen it a ton of times. I moved to North Carolina for a job just for a year, and this was like a long time ago. And I was young, like 19 or something, and I stayed with my uncle just until I could rent an apartment. And there was no movies in the house. I was staying in this little room, but I found a VCR in storage, and the only movie they had, because they had my cousin had like Disney movies, but the only adult movie was The Thing. And I remember I would come home from work. I'd pop in the movie, watch it, eat dinner, go to bed. The next night I would come home from work, and that's all I had. I would pop that in. There was no smartphones and shit like that. I'd pop that in. I don't even think YouTube was out back then. Because YouTube was like 2005 or something, right?
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, so there's none of this shit back then. So every night I would come home from work. I think I did that for like a month, and that's when I turned 21 too. So I'd buy, a 6-pack or a 12-pack and get home from work, eat dinner, watch The Thing. And still to this day, like I can get off the stream now, put The Thing in, and I just love it. So that's definitely my number one movie. But what I will recommend that ties into The Thing for anyone hearing this, go watch Bone Tomahawk. That has risen as definitely one of my top favorite movies of all time. It's got Kurt Russell in it as well, and it's about a cannibalistic Native American tribe that attacks a small town, and a small posse goes out to essentially save someone from their town. And it's definitely a Western, but it's a horror Western. It's brutal. It feels real authentic, but it is fantastic. And just prepare yourself. It gets a little gory for like 10 seconds, but it'll make you cringe with the good cringe.
Yeah.
But it's called Bone Tomahawk. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, no worries. There are
I've got 2 films to recommend. Then, have you ever seen Dread?
Dread, like you don't mean like Judge Dredd, right?
Yeah,
I've seen
but
Dredd.
the most recent one,
2012.
With
Carl Urban.
With Carl Urban. Yes, I have that. Love it. And I got it in 3D as well. That's the girl from Game of Thrones is in it, right?
Lena Headey or something like that.
That's the one.
Lena
Headey.
Yeah. And he doesn't even take off his mask. I give him props.
Doesn't smile, constantly frowning. That's one of our favorite movies. We keep trying to name drop it in there. And then a horror movie. It's called The Terrifier.
Terrifier. Are you talking about Art the Clown?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen Terrifier, and I love Art the Clown. I'm actually excited for part 2 coming out. I hope that's sometime soon.
Yeah, it's one of the most fucked up
It's fucked.
Yeah.
I'll be real though. I think the acting is a bit ouch.
Oh,
however, the gore is awesome.
Yeah,
it's that practical, just whatever crazy gory shit they can come up with.
Fucking creepy.
Yeah. But the guy who does the clown does one hell of a good job.
Yeah, he's in like a few Conjurings. He's one of those actors who do play those sorts of roles.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Same guy that was in Watchmen.
I'm not too sure.
What is his name? David Thornton? Thornton?
Oh, I can't think. It's hard to remember these B-movie actors.
Yeah, it's something like that, but he does great with Art the Clown. But I do want to see the second one. I actually have because I got my horror guys here. I got Jason. This is a 1/6 scale for anyone who has no idea about grown men with dolls. Got Ghostface from Scream. I have a Michael Myers over there. But at the end of this year, they're coming out with an Art the Clown. That's the same scale. So one of my goals was they're coming out with a reissue of Freddy Krueger. So I was going to pick up Freddy, get Art the Clown at the end of this year, and then I'll have Jason, Freddy, Art the Clown, Ghostface. And I think I'm pretty good, you know, because I don't need every horror guy in that size, but I think I'm pretty good after that. I'm not missing anybody, right? I could probably get Leatherface, but
he's kind of creepy. I
yeah.
think Michael Myers is my favorite slasher.
Oh yeah,
Hands down. I'm looking forward to Kills.
I'm definitely that. They did really good with the
That
trailer.
trailer was fucking,
Yeah.
but he can't watch it because he ain't seen 2018 yet. So it's a big spoiler.
Yeah, you should check out 2018 and then go into that. Now, I wasn't super impressed with 2018, but I did like the fact that it wasn't trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it was good. They had some really good concepts, but I definitely wanted
Jamie
a bit
Lee
more.
Curtis's acting, I think, is one thing for me. I don't think she's aged well in the acting department. It's more like shocked old women, like, "Oh my god, Michael."
She was.
Yeah.
She should have brought her Freaky Friday game to Halloween. You know?
I just don't know what they were. Somebody said, "Oh, Ronnie, they gave her the same haircut she had when she was in part one, the 78 the original." And
Yeah.
I was like, if that's true, they failed miserably and they shouldn't have done that, because like your mother doesn't wear her hair the same way she did when she was 18. My grandmother does not wear her fucking hair the same way she does when she's 18. That's not life. That's not how it goes. Maybe in Hollywood, but she looks like Doc Brown, or she looks like a crazy person. She doesn't even look like, and maybe sure, I mean, that's how
she's supposed to be, kind of.
Yeah, in a way she is, but she looks like
but her hair just looks dry as fucking.
Yeah, it's like took the hair dryer and dried her hair out like crazy, and it's just like it's just there. Like, listen, Doc Brown.
That has one of the most amazing single track shots in it. Halloween 2018.
The tracking shot and the soundtrack is fire in 2018. But I will say though, it is a good base for them to build off of for the next two. I really hope, although they showed a little too much in the trailer, I really hope Kills is just, you know, what I think it's going to be. And I think I might end up loving it, as long as they don't go overboard with certain things, like certain supernatural stuff like they did in the original. Not the original, but the original saga.
Anthology.
You know? Yeah.
What do you think about the Rob Zombie Halloween?
That doesn't exist to me.
Because I like Rob Zombie's films. I really like the Devil's Rejects.
I mean, you don't need 2 hours of Michael in a cell. It's not that long, but it's too long.
It's just
then it's just a cut for cut remake of the original. So what's the point?
Fair enough.
2018, I think retcons a lot of stuff and then makes its own story.
Yeah.
With a crazy fucking granny.
I love how retcon is becoming such a thing now. And so it used to be done like on the slide, but now it's just fucking open it like retcon.
Do it right though. You can do it right.
Oh yeah. And it's becoming more and more acceptable. I mean, decades ago, Hollywood would be like, no, you can't do that because you're going to confuse the consumer base, because the, you know, fan base in a large part is so active online and talking about it. It's so easy for them now. You wouldn't be able to do this 20 years ago. You would never be able to go, oh, this doesn't count, that don't count, and yada yada yada. I mean, I'm sure there's something that's done that, but in a big way, in a big way, it's getting more and more acceptable to just come out and be like, okay, I'm gonna do Aliens 5, but Aliens 3 and 4 never happened, you know? I think that was a plan actually once.
It was, yeah.
And
they'll do the same.
They didn't.
Hopefully they do it with Predator. I don't know. Get rid of those last two.
Imagine they didn't retcon Deadpool. Imagine they just left him at Origins. Just bald naked dude.
So I take that back. Predators 3 is good. Sorry.
I tell you what, if there was ever a chance to get rich and buy like a franchise, I would try to buy Predator. I would do something with that. That shit he's too fucking cool to not.
I wrote a script when I was 17, so see what happens. Put that script
I would buy Resident Evil franchise. I suppose it's going to be pretty hard, but I'll fucking try.
In our lifetime, I think the rights to these things are going to expire anyway. So
yeah, Predator is currently expiring. They're going to court for it. The 35 years is up, but somebody was saying that like Disney has a real good chance, which I haven't read into it, but I just don't understand it, because you would think the rights are pretty clear. After 35 years, the original person gets the rights, done, you know, but apparently there's some other shit in there where I don't even believe if Disney wins, I don't even believe it'll be fair. You know, it's Disney. Chances are they grease the wheels somewhere.
They always keep getting more time put on the rights of things, because, you know, certain things should be public domain by now. But for some reason, Disney's managed to find a way to extend that. And it's ridiculous. You know, Snow White and shit like that. That needs to be public domain now. Snow White. That's 1920 something.
Yeah. What is it? 100 years?
Nearly 100 years. Yeah.
Or is public domain 70? I think it's 70.
Well, 1984, for example, George Orwell's 1984. That went public domain in 2020, and that was first published in 1949.
Oh yeah.
You can listen to the audiobook on YouTube. It's public domain.
Oh shit.
But you can still buy the book. So someone's still making a profit on it. So I don't know how that works out.
I'm not sure. When I was young, I was always worried about public domain, which is real stupid, because I was like, well, what if I create something so cool? You're going to tell me I don't own it after 70 years? I was like, fuck you. But now that I'm older, it don't matter.
It's like, we'll be dead then. Who gives a fuck?
It don't fucking matter.
I hope it dies. Yeah, I hope it dies with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in my will. If you ever do this, this, and this, and this, you can fuck off. You know?
Yeah, that's it. But yeah. Anyway, so I could do this all fucking night, mate, but I gotta get to bed because work in the morning.
I mean, in a few weeks, I get some more time. I can come back on and we can kick the shit. You know?
Yeah,
kick the can, whatever they say.
That'll be awesome, man. Yeah, of course, I'd be honored, mate. Because it's been awesome. We're kind of. I'm just gonna fucking stop recording. We'll keep chatting.